Hi there, I'm Sheena and this is the Lesbian Review podcast. This podcast is a spin-off of the popular review site thelesbianreview.com, where we review the best books, movies and music with leading lesbian, bi or queer women. The goal of this podcast is to bring you closer to the best queer media and give you access to interviews with people who are behind the scenes in creating it. This is a solo podcast coming to you from the world of Sheena. I'm all alone today, but that's okay because I want to talk about a topic that I'm particularly passionate about. And that's books that have surprised me. You see, I am very rarely surprised by a book. I studied film for 4 years, and that means that I studied storytelling and the mechanics of it to the point where I can unpack, repack, and reshuffle stories like they're playing cards. Couple that with the fact that I've been in the publishing industry for 10 odd years and a reviewer for close to 5 now, and you have someone who's hardly ever surprised by a book. This is why books that are able to give me something truly unique take my breath away. And today I actually want to share 3 books with you. These are not in any particular order, they're not of any particular genre, they're just books that I didn't see coming. The first book is The One by Casey Luck. Self-published, and unfortunately there's no audiobook for this one. Here's the synopsis I wrote in my review. The One by Casey Luck is a perfect short read. It's a suspense with a twist, a romance with a completely unexpected set of characters. Lynn longs for her soulmate. She has seen her parents live happily together and wants to find a woman who fits her the same way. Someone with the same habits and hobbies. Someone who's exciting and shares the same interests. Why is that so difficult? Lynn will do anything to find the one. And when she meets a homeless woman, she gets an inkling that she may have found true love at last. But don't let this book fool you. This is not a romance per se, but a short, unexpected read. I didn't see the twist coming, and I'm so glad I picked this one up. It's a short read, it's only 27 pages or something. But if you're looking for something that's fun and intense and intriguing, give this one a go. The next book I want to talk about is Green-Eyed Monster by Jill McKnight. It's published by Bold Strokes Books, and it's a relatively old book. It's the second book that Jill McKnight ever wrote. Why this one surprised me was that it was a completely hilarious romp, and it had an unexpected storyline. There were also a couple of twists that I didn't see coming, and it had me completely encaptured from the first word. So let me read you the synopsis I wrote for my review. Green-Eyed Monster by Jill McKnight is a delightful romp about a kidnapping gone wrong. Mickey Rapowski has been cheated out of money by Victoria Gresham, and she wants to get what she's owed. So she hatches a plan to kidnap Victoria's girlfriend Jeanette and hold her for ransom. But Mickey isn't unreasonable. She only wants her due. It seems like a brilliant plan in the moment, but it has some unforeseen flaws during the execution. No one wants to pay the ransom, and Jeanette is the worst captive ever, breaking down Mickey's resolve slowly but surely. Not only does Mickey end up on the wrong side of Jeanette's power plays, but she also begins to fall for her captive. Could this get any worse for the poor, unsuspecting woman? And the answer is yes. Yes, it can. And you should absolutely read this one if you're looking for something that is well-written, hilarious, and completely unusual. The third book is Daughter of the Sun by Effie Calvin. It's published by Nine Star Press. Unfortunately, there's no audiobook available. And this one is more of a fantasy. What surprised me most about this one was the fact that one of her characters was a minor goddess, and she had a complete character transformation during the story, which is something that doesn't really happen often because a lot of people assume that gods are pretty set in their ways. So for me, it was like a really fresh take on this. I'm going to read you the synopsis I wrote for my review. Daughter of the Sun by Effie Calvin is a delightful fantasy with a light romance and the most wonderful characters. Orsina, of Melidri is a paladin of the Order of the Sun. Her mission is to end chaos and corruption wherever she finds it. She spends her days traveling around looking for the great evil she is destined to encounter. At least that's what she was told 2 years before. Aelia is the goddess of caprice. She's a minor chaos goddess and the personification of poor decision-making. Her worship is outlawed, and when Aelia encounters Orsina, she's trapped in the mortal body and badly wounded. But she manages to escape the encounter and manifests in the body that isn't recognizable to Orsina. So, when Orsina finds her, she thinks that Aelia is a wounded woman in need of help. She takes Aelia under her wing, and the unlikely duo end up traveling together. It's a great excuse for Aelia to travel across Vizolda in search of a magic relic that will free her from her body. Aelia can't tell Orsina the truth, no matter how much she begins to feel for the earnest woman, and so she holds back from the desire they both begin to feel. A complex set of emotions surface as Aelia learns that desires can't always be ignored, and soon the Chaos Goddess isn't certain of what she really wants after all. As the two women travel, they discover a host of gods and other problems that need to be dealt with, and sooner or later, Aelia will have to choose between her fellow gods or the paladin who has won her heart. Comment on this podcast, wherever you're hearing it, and let me know what books have surprised you and how easy it is to surprise you. This has been the Lesbian Review Podcast. You can find this and other awesome shows by searching for The Lesbian Talk Show anywhere you get your podcasts. We're even on Spotify now. Find more information on our guest in the show notes, as well as links to what we spoke about on this episode. And if you've enjoyed this podcast and want to see us creating more awesome content, then consider becoming a patron. Not only does this mean we can keep on doing this, but you will get exclusive podcasts that do not appear on the channel. You can find out all about it on patreon.com/thelesbiantalkshow. The link is in the show notes. That's all for this episode. Bye!